1620, the Wanderers.
They left England to start a new life in Virginia.
On August, the Speedwell was ready to sail.
The Speedwell and the Mayflower sailed together, but the Speedwell lacked both speed and wellness, and it also leaked.
The Speedwell broke down and everybody boarded the Mayflower. There was 102 people on the Mayflower.
Elizabeth Hopkins had a baby on the Mayflower.
The passengers were tired of sailing and not finding anything.
66 days after leaving England, the Mayflower's crew sighted land.
They sailed to Cape Cod instead of Virginia. The first English child born in North America was Virginia Dare in the lost colony of Roanoke. This is our picture. It's Elizabeth Hopkins just had her baby, and she's on the lower deck, and that's all. Throughout July, a group of English exiles in Holland finished their preparations for a journey. Another journey. They had been in Leiden for several years. Before that, in Amsterdam. And before that, in their native town of Scrooby, England. They nightly prayed to God that at the end of this journey, their wandering would be done. They were bound for Virginia in the New World. It was there, away from the stains and sins of the Old World, that they hoped to make themselves a purified people. These separatists renounced the Church of England and intended to entreat their God directly, unsoiled by the pomp of ceremonies and bishops.
On August 1st, their ship Speedwell was ready. The Bradfords boarded her and also the Brewsters. Aboard went the Alderson family and the White family, with many others. The Whites brought them a cradle for Susanna White, who expected a baby soon. The lowlands of Holland fell away behind the Speedwell's wake, and the Wanderers headed for England to meet up with the rest of their companions on the ship Mayflower. By the time they arrived at England's shore, it was clear that Speedwell lacked both speed and wellness. The ship leaked, and the Commerzone and the North Sea swells. Repairs seemed to make no difference, and so it was decided that all go aboard Mayflower and traverse the cold Atlantic in one ship alone. But the delays of repair and detour had put the Wanderers behind schedule. The autumn was approaching in the hold of Little Mayflower. Quarters were tight, dark, and damp. The children tried to play, and the elders tried to pray, all 102 of them.
Along with the Scrooby separatists were the strangers. Englishmen and the woman who had joined their voyage to the New World in search of a better life. The strangers held no grudge against the Church of England, but now, on the Mayflower, they were compelled to hear the sermons and the songs of the purified separatists. Among the strangers were the Mullins family, and Captain Miles Standish and his wife, and the large Hopkins family too, which was about to get even larger. Elizabeth Hopkins expected a child too.
At the outset, the weather favored their passage. The first weeks were smooth sailing. In mid-ocean, the autumn storms began tossing separatists and strangers even closer. Cold and wet, frightened and seasick, the Mayflower Wanderers redoubled their prayers to God for deliverance.
The pregnant woman prayed for delivery. Elizabeth Hopkins went into labor in the middle of the voyage and gave birth to a baby boy. They named this child Oceanus. The infant's cries added to the general misery in the hold, where the pilgrims were unable to wash themselves or their clothes, where their fresh food had long since been consumed. 66 days after leaving England, Mayflower's crew sighted land. They wasn't Virginia, however. It was Cape Cod.
But the passengers had enough of wandering. They were prepared to settle there, in Massachusetts Bay. Shortly after landfall, Susanna White gave birth to the first English child born in New England. His name was Purinton, which means wander. The voyage of the Mayflower was done.
First English child born in North America was Virginia Dare in the lost colony of Roanoke.